Welcome, rare gems. What if the Sigma female is not hiding a secret at all, but protecting parts of herself that she has learned not everyone deserves to access? There is a reason some women become extremely private. They may have discovered that once people know your plans, your fears, your relationships, your struggles, or your weaknesses, they can start forming opinions about a life they are not living. So she becomes careful. She speaks when there is something worth saying. She keeps certain victories quiet. She processes difficult moments away from the crowd. And sometimes, even the people closest to her may know only one layer of who she really is. But here is the part many people misunderstand. Privacy does not automatically mean fear, arrogance, or emotional coldness. Sometimes it is wisdom developed through experience. A Sigma female may simply understand that access to her life should be earned through trust, consistency, and respect. And if you recognize yourself in this, remember this: you are not strange because you need space. You are allowed to grow quietly, protect your peace, and keep some chapters of your life for yourself. Stay with me until the end at number 11, because we are going much deeper into what her privacy may actually be protecting. And when we finish, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you relate to, and subscribe to join our community. Now let's get started. The rare gems. Number 1. She knows that vulnerability without discernment is not honesty, it is exposure. Have you ever told someone something deeply personal, only to realize later that you gave that information to the wrong person? This is one reason a Sigma female can become extremely careful about vulnerability. She may believe in honesty, but she does not believe honesty means telling everyone everything. There is a difference between being genuine and being completely exposed. Today, people sometimes treat emotional openness as proof of authenticity. You are encouraged to talk about your pain, your relationships, your struggles, your fears, and your private experiences. But nobody talks enough about what happens when those personal details reach someone who has not earned your trust. A Sigma female may have learned this through experience. Maybe she once told a friend about a problem she was facing, only to hear the same story repeated somewhere else. Maybe she opened up to a partner about an insecurity, and months later that insecurity was thrown back at her during an argument. Or perhaps she trusted someone with a personal dream, only to have that dream mocked when things became difficult. Experiences like these can change the way a person communicates. She does not necessarily become heartless. She becomes discerning. She starts asking herself a simple question before opening up. What kind of person am I giving this information to? That question can save you from a lot of unnecessary pain, because vulnerability is powerful, but vulnerability without discernment can leave you exposed. The right person will treat your private information with care. The wrong person may collect it like ammunition. This is why her silence should not automatically be interpreted as dishonesty. Sometimes she is protecting something precious. And if you are a Sigma female, remember this wisdom. You can be honest without being completely accessible. You can have a soft heart and strong boundaries at the same time. You do not have to tell your entire story simply because someone is curious. Some chapters of your life belong only to you. Protecting them does not make you secretive. It means you have finally learned that your life deserves to be handled with care, especially by the people you allow close to it. Number 2, she has a strong separation between her public self and private self. Have you ever noticed that you behave differently depending on who you are with, without actually becoming a different person? A private Sigma female often understands this better than most people. She may be calm and professional at work, playful around close friends, deeply emotional with someone she trusts, and completely quiet when she's alone. Some people may look at these differences and call her inconsistent. But being different in different environments does not automatically mean she is pretending. Human beings naturally reveal different sides of themselves in different situations. You would not speak to your manager the same way you speak to your closest friend. You would not discuss your deepest fears with a stranger the same way you would with someone who has proven they can handle them with care. That is not necessarily fake behavior. It can be emotional intelligence. For a Sigma female, the important distinction is that her different sides are still connected to the same values. She may be serious in public and silly in private. She may appear composed around colleagues, but become incredibly affectionate around someone she trusts. She may spend an entire day interacting with people and then need several hours alone to return to herself. Each version can be genuine. Think about a woman who works in a demanding environment. During the day, she is focused, organized, and careful with her words. When she gets home, she may take off her shoes, play her favorite music, laugh at ridiculous videos, cook something she loves, and become completely relaxed. Which version is the real her? All of them. The mistake is believing that authenticity means showing everyone everything. It does not. Authenticity means your behavior is not built around pretending to be someone you are not. Privacy simply determines who gets access to which part of you. If you are a Sigma female, remember this: you do not owe the world your complete personality. You can be reserved in one place and expressive in another. You can be strong publicly and vulnerable privately. You can enjoy solitude without becoming disconnected from people. Being authentic does not mean removing every boundary. Sometimes authenticity means knowing exactly which parts of yourself belong in which spaces, and having the wisdom to protect the deepest ones. Number 3. Her privacy can be a form of psychological ownership. What if privacy is not about hiding from people, but about remembering that some parts of your life still belong completely to you? A Sigma female may value this deeply. She understands that there is a difference between having a life and constantly explaining that life to other people. Her thoughts belong to her. Her memories belong to her. Her dreams belong to her. Even the plans she is quietly working on do not become more important simply because somebody else knows about them. There is a certain freedom in that. Think about something as simple as a personal goal. Maybe she wants to change careers, start a business, improve her finances, write a book, or completely rebuild her lifestyle. She does not have to announce every step. She can research quietly, make mistakes privately, change direction, and try again without an audience waiting to judge the outcome. That is psychological ownership. She gets to experience her life before other people's opinions become attached to it. The same can apply to relationships. She may love someone deeply, but still believe that the relationship does not belong to social media, friends, relatives, or curious strangers. Some conversations are meaningful precisely because they happen between two people and nowhere else. The modern world constantly encourages people to document themselves, what they are doing, where they are going, who they are with, what they bought, what they achieved, what they feel. But a private Sigma female may quietly reject that idea. She does not need every meaningful moment witnessed to believe it happened. And this is where her privacy can become a form of strength. She is not allowing outside attention to become the measurement of her experiences. If you are a Sigma female, remember this: you are allowed to have a life that is partly invisible. You can keep memories without posting them. You can pursue dreams without announcing them. You can love without displaying the relationship. You can grow without explaining every change. Some things become more precious when they remain yours. Your inner world does not need public approval to have value. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can own is a part of yourself that nobody else has the right to access. Number 4. She has stopped giving everyone a front row seat to her emotional life. Have you ever wondered why a woman can feel something deeply and still choose not to talk about it? This is one of the biggest things people misunderstand about a private Sigma female. She may experience emotions very strongly, but that does not mean everyone gets to witness them. There is a difference between having deep emotions and making those emotions publicly available. A Sigma female may care deeply about someone and still keep her feelings to herself. She may be disappointed without making an announcement. She may be hurt and continue handling her responsibilities. She may even be going through a difficult season while having normal conversations with people around her. This does not automatically mean she is cold. Sometimes she has simply learned that emotional openness requires the right environment. Think about what happens when you tell the wrong person something personal. Instead of receiving understanding, you may get gossip, unwanted advice, judgment, or even have your own words used against you later. After experiencing that a few times, you naturally become more careful about who gets access to your inner world. That is where her privacy comes from. She may still have people she trusts deeply. She may laugh freely, love intensely, cry privately, and have conversations where she reveals sides of herself that very few people ever see. The difference is that she chooses those people carefully. And there is wisdom in that. You do not have to explain every emotion the moment you experience it. Some feelings need time before they can even be understood properly. If you speak too quickly, you may end up explaining something you are still trying to understand yourself. So if you are a Sigma female, remember this. Emotional privacy is not emotional emptiness. You are allowed to feel deeply without displaying everything. You are allowed to process your pain quietly. You are allowed to decide who deserves the more vulnerable parts of you. You do not owe everyone an explanation for every feeling you experience. Sometimes protecting your inner world is simply another way of respecting yourself. Number 5. Her privacy protects the version of herself that nobody has met yet. Have you ever noticed that some women become quieter when their lives are changing the most? A Sigma female may keep certain parts of her life private because she knows something many people overlook. Becoming a different person takes time, and constantly explaining that process to others can make it harder. She may be learning a new skill, changing her career, rebuilding her confidence, leaving an unhealthy situation, developing a business, or simply figuring out what she actually wants from life. From the outside, it may look like nothing is happening, but internally, there may be an entire transformation taking place. This is why she may not announce every goal she has. She understands that once people know what she is trying to become, they may start attaching expectations to it. Someone might say, "But I thought you wanted this." Another person may question why she changed direction. Someone else may remind her of who she used to be, and that can become exhausting. For example, imagine she tells everyone that she plans to start a business. Suddenly, people begin asking when it will succeed, how much money she has made, and whether it is working. What started as a personal dream becomes something she feels pressured to prove. So she keeps quiet, not because she has nothing going on, but because she wants room to experiment, fail, learn, adjust, and try again, without an audience keeping score. There is also something deeply human about this. Sometimes you need to become the person first and explain the journey later. If you are a Sigma female, remember this. You do not have to give everyone access to your unfinished chapters. Some things need privacy while they are growing. Your silence may not mean you are hiding. It may mean you are building. Give yourself permission to change without constantly explaining yourself. You are allowed to outgrow an old version of yourself, even when other people are still comfortable with it. Number 6. She hides her struggles because she does not want sympathy to become her identity. What if the strongest thing a Sigma female hides is not her happiness, but the pain she has learned to carry without letting it define her. A private Sigma female may be dealing with something far heavier than people realize. She could be facing disappointment, family problems, heartbreak, financial pressure, loneliness, or a personal battle that nobody around her knows about. Yet she may still show up, handle her responsibilities, answer messages, laugh at a joke, and continue with her day. People may look at her and think, she is fine. But being functional does not mean nothing hurts. The difference is that she does not always want her pain to become the main story people tell about her. Imagine she loses something important in her life. She could spend months telling everyone how badly she was hurt, constantly explaining what happened and reminding people of what she went through. Or she could quietly process it, learn from it, make the necessary changes, and slowly rebuild herself. She often chooses the second path. That does not mean she rejects kindness. She may appreciate genuine support more than people realize. What she dislikes is being reduced to her suffering. There is a big difference between saying, I went through something difficult, and saying, this difficult thing is who I am. The first recognizes the experience. The second gives the experience control over your identity. This is why her privacy is not necessarily hiding a secret. It may be protecting her right to heal without turning her healing process into public entertainment. And if you are a Sigma female, remember this. You are allowed to acknowledge your pain without worshipping it. What happened to you matters, but it does not have to become the permanent definition of who you are. You can struggle and still move forward. You can need help and still be strong. You can have scars without making them your entire identity. Sometimes, privacy is simply the quiet space where a person learns to become more than what happened to her. Number 7. She has a private world that is more important than her public image. What if the version of a Sigma female that people see every day is only a small fraction of who she really is? This is something people often miss about deeply private women. They may have an entire inner world that exists completely outside public attention. Their thoughts, ambitions, fears, ideas, memories, dreams, personal routines, and quiet moments may never appear in conversation or on social media. You might know how she behaves around people, but that does not mean you know what is happening inside her mind. She may spend hours thinking about a business idea without telling anyone. She may have a personal goal she has been quietly working toward for months. She may enjoy reading, praying, creating, walking alone, writing her thoughts down, or simply sitting somewhere peaceful and thinking about her life. None of it needs an audience. For example, she could post a normal picture online while privately making one of the biggest decisions of her life. People see the picture and assume they understand her mood, her priorities, or even her circumstances. Meanwhile, they have no idea what she has been thinking about all week. That is the difference between a public image and a private identity. Her public personality may be friendly, composed, funny, serious, or reserved. But underneath that surface is a much larger world that she does not constantly display. And there is something healthy about having parts of yourself that are not performed for other people. Not every thought needs to become a post. Not every dream needs an announcement. Not every meaningful experience needs witnesses. If you are a Sigma female, remember that your private world has value precisely because it belongs to you. Protect the things that help you think clearly, grow, heal, and remain connected to yourself. You do not have to turn your entire life into a public presentation. Sometimes the richest parts of who you are the parts nobody else gets to see. And that is perfectly okay. Your life does not become less meaningful because fewer people know about it. Sometimes it becomes more meaningful because you finally have the freedom to live it for yourself. Number 9. She has realized that information creates invisible obligations. Have you ever shared something about your life and then realized that you had accidentally created a responsibility you never agreed to? This is something a private Sigma female may understand very well. Information does not always remain information. Once you give people access to certain details, they may begin expecting explanations, updates, progress, and even results. Tell someone you are starting a new business, and suddenly they ask, "How much have you made?" Tell a friend you are considering leaving your job, and 2 weeks later they ask, "So, what happened?" Tell someone about a personal problem, and they may keep checking on you even after you have decided you want to process it privately. None of these questions are necessarily malicious. Sometimes people genuinely care, but repeated questions can quietly create pressure. This is why she may keep her plans to herself until they are more settled. For example, suppose she is thinking about changing careers. She is still researching, learning new skills, comparing options, and trying to understand what she really wants. If she tells 10 people, she may suddenly receive 10 opinions. One person thinks she should stay, another says she should leave immediately. Someone else tells her what worked for them. Now she is no longer simply making a decision. She is managing everybody else's expectations about the decision, so she becomes quieter. She may realize that silence gives her room to think without constantly reporting her progress. This is not about rejecting people. It is about understanding that not every decision needs a committee. There is also something powerful about allowing a dream to develop privately. Some goals are fragile in the beginning. They need work, patience, mistakes, and adjustment before they are ready for public discussion. If you are a Sigma female, remember this wisdom. You are allowed to keep some plans private until you understand them yourself. You do not have to provide progress reports on your life. Sometimes saying less gives you something incredibly valuable: the freedom to change your mind without having to explain why. Number 10. She may be hiding how much she actually notices. Have you ever spoken to someone who seemed distracted, only to realize later that they remembered almost everything you said? This can be one of the most misunderstood qualities of a private Sigma female. Her silence does not necessarily mean she is unaware. Sometimes she is paying closer attention than anyone realizes. She may notice the small things people assume nobody sees: a sudden change in someone's tone, a strange pause before an answer, a promise that does not match someone's actions, the way a person treats a waiter compared with how they treat their boss, the smile that appears when someone else fails, the compliment that sounds nice but carries a hidden insult. She may not react immediately, and that is where people can misread her. For example, someone might tell her, "I am happy for you," while their facial expression and tone suggest something completely different. She may notice the contradiction, but choose not to confront it. She simply stores the information and watches what happens next. Over time, patterns become clearer. This does not mean every private woman is secretly analyzing everyone around her. That would be unrealistic. But someone who has learned to observe before reacting may naturally become good at noticing details that others overlook. Her silence can therefore be misleading. People may assume that because she did not respond, she did not notice. Because she did not challenge the lie, she believed it. Because she remained calm, she was unaware. Not necessarily. Sometimes she simply does not see the value in revealing everything she has noticed. And there is wisdom in knowing when observation is more useful than reaction. You do not have to confront every inconsistency you detect. Sometimes, watching what someone repeatedly does tells you far more than arguing with what they say. If you are a Sigma female, remember this: your ability to notice things is valuable. but use it wisely. Do not let observation turn into suspicion. Do not let intelligence become overthinking. Pay attention, stay grounded, and judge patterns rather than isolated moments. You may notice more than people realize, but you do not have to announce everything you notice. Sometimes the quietest person in the conversation is simply collecting a clearer picture before deciding what deserves a response. Number 11. The biggest thing she may be hiding is how much of her life she has chosen to live without witnesses. What if the biggest secret about a private Sigma female is not what she is hiding, but everything she has been strong enough to handle without an audience? There may be chapters of her life that nobody knows about. She may have survived painful experiences without telling the whole story. She may have made difficult decisions while everyone around her thought everything was normal. She may have rebuilt herself after disappointment, changed her priorities, walked away from situations that were damaging her, or achieved something she once thought was impossible. And nobody applauded. That can be difficult for people to understand because we live in a world where almost everything is documented. People announce new jobs, relationships, achievements, struggles, travels, purchases, and personal milestones. There is nothing wrong with sharing those things, but a Sigma female may discover that some of her most meaningful victories feel better when they remain personal. Imagine she spent 2 years quietly saving money, learning a new skill, and preparing for a major change in her life. During that period, people may have assumed she was simply going about her normal routine. Then one day, she makes the move. To everyone else, it looks sudden. To her, it took 2 years. That is the part nobody saw. Her privacy may therefore contain an entire history of quiet decisions, private battles, personal growth, and moments when she had to encourage herself because nobody else knew she needed encouragement. This does not mean she wants to live completely disconnected from people. It means she has learned that some victories do not need witnesses to become real. If you are a Sigma female, remember this: the things you accomplished quietly still count. The difficult decisions nobody understood still mattered. The growth nobody noticed was still growth. You do not need to turn every chapter into an announcement. Some of the strongest parts of your story may remain known only to you, and that is not something to feel ashamed of. Your privacy is not necessarily hiding a secret. It may be protecting a life you have worked hard to build without constantly explaining, defending, or performing it for other people. And sometimes that freedom is worth more than applause. In final words, what if the Sigma female is not hiding a secret at all, but protecting a life she has learned to value deeply? After everything we have explored, her privacy begins to look very different. She may keep quiet about her struggles because she does not want pain to define her. She may protect her relationships because not every meaningful connection needs outside opinions. She may keep her plans private because she wants room to grow without constant questions. And she may reveal her emotions carefully because she understands that trust should be built, not assumed. That does not make her cold or difficult to understand. It may simply mean she has learned to be intentional about access. If you recognize yourself in this, remember something important. Being a Sigma female does not mean you have to isolate yourself or carry everything alone. Your strength also includes knowing when to let trustworthy people come closer. Privacy should protect your peace, not become a prison. You are allowed to have an inner world. You are allowed to change quietly. You are allowed to keep certain dreams, memories, relationships, and experiences close to your heart. Maybe that is what makes your path different. You have learned that a meaningful life does not require constant explanation. So, what do you think? Which of these reasons describes you most closely? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this conversation helped you understand yourself or someone you know a little better, Subscribe and join our community for more honest conversations about the Sigma female mindset. And God bless you the rare gems.